Hey there. So this is my second video here, and my friends call me Mazzy, so I'm going to use Mazzy here, even though my real name is Norman, but my last name, it's a hybrid of that, Mazzy, and they've been calling me that way before Mazzy Star existed. I'm not going to show today any of my really kind of primo, personal, rare things. But since I have a huge Beatle collection, I want to show you some bizarre things. Some are common, some are less common. There are a series of albums I have that are basically cover versions of Beatles songs. So from the last 50 years, 40 plus years I guess, some are more common than others. This was a soundtrack from the 70s called All This World War II, and it has artists like Elton John, the Bee Gees, Leo Sayer, Brian Ferry, Roy Wood, Helen Reddy, Status Quo, Frankie Valli, Peter Gabriel, Jeff Lynne, covering Beatles songs. Kind of strange collection, not the greatest thing, but kind of an interesting novelty. This is sort of a common one, or was. Beatlemania was a Broadway show of not the Beatles, but an incredible simulation. Then there's the Mike Curb Congregation come together that has some Beatles and a few other sort of pop songs. Mike Curb actually was a Republican lieutenant governor for California, I believe, for a while back in the 80s, maybe 90s. I forgot one. Anyway, there you go on that. Keely Smith. This is a great album. Keely Smith was played Vegas a lot, and with Louis Prima, who you may know from The Jungle Book, the ape singer, but obviously he was a big Vegas singer, and him and Keely Smith had a whole Vegas act. You should check their records out. They're wonderful records, but this is a good record from probably one of the first Beatle cover records, I think from 64, 65. So very early on, when a lot of pop singers were not quite getting on the Beatle bandwagon there. This is a Rabbi Abraham Feinberg. I worked in record stores, and it was a cutout, promo overpressing. Didn't even open it. But it's this rabbi who happened just to be at the live piece, Bed In for Peace with John Lennon. So it's strange. Some Dylan songs too. Strange thing, but fun. Okay. When I was a kid, I'm the Beatle generation. I asked my mother to buy, I was homesick, and I asked my mother to buy me the first Beatles album. So she came back with this, The Beatle Beat by the Bugs. She bought the fucking wrong record instead of Meet the Beatles. And I've had it ever since. She actually said, we'll just keep it, and she got me Meet the Beatles. Strange record, it's kind of falling apart, obviously, but so be it. Another one, Do the Beatle, I Want to Hold Your Hand, and other songs. Great cover, looks like a surfer hybrid of the Liverpool Mercy Beat sound. I don't know what this is. Oh, Jun Funky Machi doing Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band. This is from 1977. It's sort of a all keyboard type of thing. John Lennon for President, David Peel and the Super Apple Band, and it's autographed by David Peel somewhere here, if you can see it. Kind of fun. Sometimes I get these just for the covers and everything. Oh no, here's the copy that my mother gave me. I think I just picked up another one. So this one actually, considering it's 50 years old, it's in pretty good shape. I love that. Should have been with that. Beats, the Mercy Beat sound. Beat-a-mania. Look at that cover. I just like these covers. Oh, here's a 12-inch single from the band Crack the Sky in the 70s. This is 1978, a 12-inch single of them doing I Am the Walrus. I don't remember what white label promo, what that even sounds like. We all know, obviously, the Chipmunks. Do the Beatles. This was a kind of a fun novelty. Oh, there you go. The reissue gem import from the late 70s, and then this is obviously the original 60s version. Fun thing. Oh, here's one. I guess I must have. Oh, this is just a cover. So someone gave it to me. I think they wrote all over the back there. But that's good. But then, not to be upstaged, you got the Nutty Squirrels. So there must have been a sort of a sub-genre of Beatles Rodent cover albums. This is Sasha Berland and Don Elliott with the Nutty Squirrels. But it's not just Beatles song. It's I Should Have Known Better. Everybody knows Diddy Wah Diddy. They say Do Wah Diddy. Oh, Do Wah Diddy Diddy. Needles and Pins, Can't Buy Me Love. Wishin' and Hopin', Dusty Springfield song. Hard Day's Night, World Without Love, Bread and Butter, Oh Pretty Woman, and Bingle Gels. That's, I guess, the Nutty Squirrels ho-ho dyslexic version of Jingle Bells. There you go. In the background I have a Tom Rush best of playing. Moonlight Live club bands. I don't even know what the fuck this is. I used to just, everything that had sort of a Sgt. Pepper parody cover, I used to pick up. Murray the K, the Fifth Beatle. Collection, Dinah Warwick, Chuck Jackson, Shirelles, Kingsman, Benny King, and the seal copy, a seal like cutout copy too. Murray the K, the Fifth Beatle. Of course, everyone was the Fifth Beatle. All right, let's see. We got Cafe Creme, Disco Mania during the disco years. It's one of those ongoing disco things. Jesus, there's like 60 Beatles songs here. I think it's like one of those like Stars on 45 thing, where just instrumental and singing really bad versions of disco. Promo copy. I probably got this when I managed record stores back in the 70s. Oh yeah, Cafe Creme, and then a special 12-inch sampler of Beatle Mania. Jack Nitzsche. Jack Nitzsche's great. Dance to the Beatle hits. You should pick up some Jack Nitzsche if you can. He worked with Neil Young, did some arranging and production for Neil Young, mostly arranging, orchestration, and he had The Lonely Surfer was an album hit of his sort of in the mid-60s during the surf craze. And this was actually his Beatle period. A little sordid backstory of Jack Nitzsche later on, but major talent. I love that cover too. Dance to the Beatles. Dance to the hits of the Beatles. Okay, another promo, not promo, but a cutout. The Happy Harmony plays Lennon and McCartney. And this is, oh, the Happy Hammond. Oh, this is, who is this playing this? Enga Boga's first on the Hammond B3, probably, right? There you go. That'd be quite a amazing, wonderful profile picture, right? There you go. Well, this is actually a good record. The Charles River Valley Boys, Beatle Country covers of Beatles. The Brothers Four, very kind of upbeat 60s. MOR cover the Beatles. There's a whole pile there. I don't know if I'm going to go through everyone now. If you're bored, you can turn the channel or come back later. But it's just kind of fun looking at records, right? I've been watching all your videos, so maybe you can turn your friends on to these if it interests you. Songs made famous by the Beatles. Ray Martin and his orchestra. Al Caiola, a bunch of kind of MOR sloggy versions. Oh, Santo and Johnny. This is incredible. Beatles' Greatest by Santo and Johnny. You probably know their I'm blanking out now. You're going to say it before I say it, and I'm not going to hear it because you're watching a video that was made way before that. But what's Sleepwalk? Sleepwalk, an incredible instrumental, right? This is actually a good album. I need to play it. Should play some of these records, right? Let's see now. We got the Beatles Concerto, Liverpool Philharmonic. Probably something I played once back in the 70s or early 80s. I don't even remember. But if it had Beatles on it, or covers, I used to get it. The Baroque Beatle book, kind of like a switched on Bach, but a little more... Joshua Rifkin worked on the Sting and did a bunch of albums after the Sting was popular of, what's his name? Come on, the music. Blanking out on his name right here. The piano player. The music that they use in the Sting, the jazz. Help me, throw it out and put it in the comments down there. Write it down. I'll get it later. Someone will get it before me anyway. But Joshua Rifkin. Scott Joplin piano rolls. Another, I don't know why I didn't open. Oh, I have one that's open. Original too. Chet Atkins Picks the Beatles. Great fucking record. And Chet Atkins, anything he does, you got to pick up Chet Atkins. One of the most amazing guitar players ever. There's in fact an album, nothing to do with the Beatles, but Chet Atkins in Hollywood. 2 different covers on it. The one of the woman with the really tight top on Hollywood Boulevard looking at a pawn shot of a guitar. Buy that album, find it. There's been reissues with a different cover. This is actually a overpressing. This is from the Record Factory. That's one of the stores I managed back in the 70s in San Francisco. But good album. But anything by Chet Atkins you need if you're into guitar playing. Some of it's country based, but rockabilly, but just amazing stuff. Count Basie plays the Beatles. There you go. Not even open. See? I have some of the stuff on CD, so never opened it. Sarah Vaughan, jazz singer, jazz pop singer, great singer. Oh, this is extremely rare. If you don't know the Residents, you got to search them out. They're not for everybody. San Francisco avant-garde, conceptual. For years and years, even to this day, nobody knows who they are. They used to wear those big eyeball heads. You've probably seen that. This was their first album, Meet the Residents, with this parody of Meet the Beatles cover. I think they only pressed 1,000 of these. And this one still has a shrink wrap on it. Looks like I paid $4 for it. Maybe even less, because that's when I worked in the record store. But look at that. Amazing, huh? Paul McCrawfish, John Crawfish, George Crawfish, and Ringo Starfish. But it's sort of electronic, kind of conceptual, did a lot of videos. Find them on YouTube. An acquired taste, but I saw them live 2 or 3 times in San Francisco over the years. And it's a very conceptual performance art type of thing, but the Residents. Nothing to do with the Beatles, really, except for the cover, but the music is not Beatle related. Easy listening Beatles. Anyway, you get the idea there. Oh, another copy of my Keely Smith. I gotta put these in order. They're not really in order today. Love that. Okay, 12-inch single, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Remember when they covered "Got to Get You Into My Life" for the fabulous, overrated movie Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band? Terrible film, but great cover version of that. You probably heard that. Shacksfield plays the Beatles songbook. There you go, another one. Very 60s pop art cover. Love that. Bud Shank, jazz musician. Magical Mystery. There you go. Another cover. You get the idea. I have no idea what this is. But I paid $8 for it. I probably got it on sale, but probably just bought it for the cover, right? When you're a Beatle freak and Beatle collector, you buy stuff for the cover. You never know. Sergeant Pepper Knew My Father. All right. Forgot what this is. It's an import. Oh, a lot of, okay, this is Michelle Shock, the Triffids, The Fall, Billy Bragg. Oh, this, oh, cool collection. The Christians, Wet, 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 Three Wise Men, Billy Bragg again. Oh, wow, Sonic Youth. Okay, I need to play this again. Kind of a indie collection. Looks good. Don't know why I don't know it. Remember I talked about the squirrels and the chipmunks and those kind of things? Well, remember the raisins? All right, there you go. Meet the Raisins. A lot of the, remember when they did a lot of the Motown stuff, funk stuff, Heard It Through the Grapevine? Actually, there's not one Beatles song on here, but obviously, you know I had to get this because of the cover. Rubber Soul Jazz. Put together by Al Collins, was a hipster DJ in San Francisco in the late 50s, early 60s. He had a morning TV show when I was a kid also. Really kind of cool hipster. Al Jazzbo Collins, but kind of like, I think I want to date her. Or her. Same girl. Oh God, look at who's on this. Tommy Tedesco, Pat Smith, Hal Gordon. Great studio musicians of the time. I don't think I've ever heard it though. I must have at some point. You getting bored yet? Well, we got a few more to go. There's more. More Beatles. More Beatles. Bangladesh. But who's covering these songs? The Tribe. Pickwick. Budget label. A lot of cover musicians covering songs. Bangladesh, Blowing the Wind and Don't Come Easy. Meditation Raga. Here Comes the Sun, My Sweet Lord. The Beatles Songbook, again orchestrated by Frank Shaxfield. Percy Faith Strings. Percy Faith sold a shitload of music in the 60s of easy listening versions like Boston Pops, those kind of cover bands. There was a certain generation, my parents' generation, maybe that and beyond, that didn't get into the Beatles, but liked their music, but not the Beatles doing it. So kind of elevator type of music versions of their stuff. There you go. The original greatest hits. I love when they say the original greatest hits because it's not by the original artist. Twist and Shout on Your Hand, Please Please Me, From Me to You. Beatles songs. It's funny how they get away with this. I got this used for $4. Probably. It's 1964, so it's the original hits, but not the original versions and not by the original artist. But I kind of like that illustration cover. Isn't that cool? Great, 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 great. Oh, this is good. Just Where It All Began, and I love that cover because, you know, they're standing in line for the Cavern Club. It kind of takes you from that thing. I love that picture. Matthew Street, Liverpool, Beatles, Homeland, featuring the MC Bob Wooler. Now, Bob Wooler was the DJ in the Cavern Club during the time the Beatles and all those other groups were there in the early 60s. So he was a first degree of separation type person. Sing a song with the Beatles. Oh yeah, printed lyrics, chords, and cymbals included. So you can play along with this, and if you can see, it has lyrics and the chords, so you can play guitar or piano, probably more guitar alike, tablature. Pretty cool. So it's not the Beatles versions at all, so don't get your pants up in a tight punch. Okay, oh, this is a great record. This is a real deal. This is a listenable great record. The songs Lennon and McCartney gave away. So it's the original versions of songs that mostly the Beatles did not record, but they wrote for other artists. I'm the Greatest, actually. There is Ringo Starr here doing I'm the Greatest from the solo album that John Lennon. But Billy J. Kramer, From a Window, Peter and Gordon, like Nobody Knows, Cilla Black, Love of the Love, Woman, by Peter and Gordon, McCartney song. The Foremost, Cilla Black, Peter and Gordon, Billy J. Kramer, Dakota, Bad to Me. Great collection. Great songs. There's actually a couple of great CDs of this. If you just want the songs, search those out. Pretty great. We're getting down to the end here. I even have no idea why this is here. I don't see any Beatles songs. Oh, there's a song called Paul McCartney on this. I think somebody gave this to me. See, when you're a collector, you're crazy. There's no reason I really need this album. But I got it. It's on the shelf. And then lastly, this was a musical called John, Paul, George, and Bert. It was an off-Broadway musical in the 70s, I believe. Don't know much about it, but I remember hearing about this, and I probably got this one cheap as well. Anyway, that's sort of a second video of boring you and exciting you with possible Beatles collector's items. As I said in my first video, this whole shelf is Beatle related, so at some point maybe we'll continue with that before we kind of go on to all the other music around here. Thanks again. Have a great weekend, and write in. I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this in terms of how often, because I know a lot of you are more prolific and do this all the time. But thanks for watching, and enjoy the music, right? Keep collecting. Thanks.